Good evening. My name is Mary Maslowski. I'm the chair of the Harwich Historic District and Historical Commission. We're calling to order the meeting of Wednesday, September 17th, 2025. It is 6 p.m. It is located here at Town Hall at 732 Main Street in the small hearing room. Before we get started, I would just ask that if anybody in the audience is looking to audio or video record the meeting, that you notify us at this time. Hearing none, we'll start with a roll call.
Brendan Lowney.
Lynn Zalasap.
And Paul Doan.
So this evening, just for those of you that may not be familiar with our board, 4 is our quorum, so any matter would need 4 votes in order to be approved on a public hearing. So we'll start by the first public hearing is HH 2025-20. One of our members is actually the applicant, so we don't have a quorum for that hearing, so the remaining members are simply going to open this hearing for the purpose of continuing it to our next meeting, and that is the public hearing for 25 Pleasant Lake Avenue. So it's HH 2025-20, Brendan Lowney, owner, who's filed a notice of intent. The project proposes a partial demolition to remove the existing rear gable facade to accommodate a new addition. The structure is over 100 years old according to the town assessing records and is located at 25 Pleasant Lake Avenue, map 41, parcel A1-1. So at this time, I would entertain a motion to continue this public hearing without any testimony until our next meeting, which is October 15th, no earlier than 6 p.m.
So moved.
All right, motion's been made by Paul, seconded by Lynn. For those of us that can vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That carries 3-0, so that is postponed until our next meeting. The next matter on our agenda is a public hearing for HH 2025-21. The Town of Harwich owner, through their agent Ashley Symington, Town of Harwich Director of Youth and Family Services, has filed a certificate of appropriateness. The project proposes the use of a temporary non-permanent sign to be used for the purpose of marketing programs at this location. Structure is in the historic district and over 100 years old according to the town assessing records, and is located at 728 Main Street, map 41, parcel B8. She had requested a continuance on that, hadn't she? Had Ashley requested a continuance on that?
Yes, she did, yes.
Okay. So I would entertain a motion to oh, sorry.
Sorry.
We stole it from
Oh, I
you.
took that, sorry about that.
I didn't realize it was a space holder for you. Sorry. So I would entertain a motion to postpone that public hearing to the October 15th meeting, no earlier than 6 p.m. Motion's been made by Paul, seconded by Lynn. All in favor?
Aye.
Any in opposition? Hearing none, motion carries 4-0. That is postponed. The next matter on our agenda is a public hearing for HH 2025-22. The Royal Apartments LLC owner, through their agent Locust Street Sign Company, has filed a certificate of appropriateness. The project proposes to fabricate and install 2 permanent double-sided post-mounted signs. One sign is to be located on the existing Bank Street signpost, and the second sign is to be located on the existing Parallel Street signpost. The structure is in the historic district and is over 100 years old according to the town assessing records, and is located at 328 Bank Street, map 41, parcel N4.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening. Please come forward, sign your name, and take a seat.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening.
Mike.
You're welcome to have a seat.
Oh, okay. Ooh, it's a little-
We're in an awkward
Yeah.
situation these days in our new setup in our room.
Alrighty, well, this is my first time down this end of the Cape. I've been making signs and found for over 30 years, and lots in historic districts, and most of the Cape and some of the islands. Alrighty, so what we're proposing here is 2 freestanding signs using existing posts. The one on Parallel Street will need to be repaired, and both will be repainted and cleaned up. I'm going to construct the signs out of MDO, which is a sign plywood. I don't know if you're familiar with that product. And the top cap and trim will be mahogany. The signs will be flat lettering, no carved or raised details, and black text and graphic on a white background. Will reduce the gloss to a semi-gloss finish.
So semi-gloss, white sign, black lettering.
Correct.
Okay. All right, any questions from members of the board? And my understanding is there are going to be 2. There's one on Parallel, one on Bank Street.
Yep.
Paul?
My question relates to the sign posts. You said you're
Yep.
gonna paint them, which is great,
Yep.
but why don't you put up similar posts? Why is one different than the other?
I think they're existing. The posters, they're there, so we're just gonna repair one that's on Parallel Street and just use what's existing.
Well, how about making them the same? Is that a problem?
I don't think that's a problem.
I mean, they're not similar.
Yeah, and one needs repair anyway.
They're
so-
both white with a,
Yeah,
but other than that,
since the one on Parallel Street already needs repair, I would say that we match the one on Bank Street.
well, either way, I just think it would enhance the property to have them be identical.
Yeah, and has continuity.
You agree?
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't have any questions.
Okay. Lynn?
Trying to remember where the sign posts are.
Well, one's down parallel
Yeah,
by the
where?
parking lot.
Oh,
and
okay.
By the parking lot
one's
on the Parallel
front.
Street
Okay,
side.
Right.
right there.
A bit
Yeah.
away from the
Okay.
intersection.
Okay, I got
The
you.
posts actually are up there now.
Correct.
Oh, I see. No questions.
Brendan?
Just for clarity, which post are we matching, the one on Parallel or Bank?
I would match the one on Bank as the one in Parallel is in need of repair anyway, so we're gonna.
Okay. That's it.
Fine with either or.
Yeah.
All right, we're in a public hearing. Are there any questions from the public? Seeing and hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
So Linda's made the motion, Paul has seconded. All those in favor of closing the public hearing, say aye.
Aye.
Any in opposition? Hearing none, motion carries. I would entertain a motion here. Brendan, you want to take a stab?
Sure. Case number HH 2025-22, filing date August 13, 2025. Hearing date September 17, 2025. Address 328 Bank Street, map 41, parcel N4. Owner is the Royal Apartments LLC. Applicant is Locust Street Sign Company. Recording information, book 32263, page 179. It is on Macris, HRW1. This is a certificate of appropriateness. The project proposes to fabricate and install 2 permanent double-sided post-mounted signs. One sign will be located on the existing Bank Street signpost, and the second sign will be located on the existing Parallel Street post sign, signpost. Finding certificate of appropriateness, the proposed construction or alteration would be appropriate for the preservation and protection of the historic district. Determination approved. As far as comments, no comments. Conditions, both posts are to match.
Okay, so we have a motion that's been made by Brendan. Do we have a second?
Second.
Lynn has seconded. All those in favor?
I have a
Aye.
question.
Oh, okay.
Did we insert the common?
What Brendan
Design.
put in for a condition is that both posts are to match. Did you want anything more? The
Do you
app,
want
the
to be more
application.
specific to the Bank Street one post?
Yeah, it doesn't, just so long as they're the
As long as they
same
can,
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
okay.
Whichever works
I-
the easiest.
Yeah.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any in opposition? Hearing none, motion carries.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Have a good rest of the evening.
All right. All right, the next matter on our agenda is HH 25-23, John F. Sugden and Peter B. Sugden, co-personal representatives of the estate of Jane Sugden, owners, prospective buyers are Robert and Darlene Tuner, through their agent, Kroll and Donovan Law, LLC, who filed a notice of intent. The project proposes a full demolition of the structure to construct a new dwelling. Structure is over 100 years old according to the town assessing records and is located at 5 Strand Way, map 1, parcel J1-1.
Big Bill knows he's on.
Come on up. You're on.
I'm anticipating there might be a few folks that have something to say on ours.
I
So I'm
suspect you're
gonna
correct.
ask, with my client's permission, the fourth one, which I don't think would take that long. To
Okay.
take that out of order and hear them first.
Okay, you want to hear the Cone versus Casey?
Yes,
Cone Casey first?
yes,
Okay.
if that's all right.
So, yep, that's fine. So we're going to temporarily continue 25-23 and take 25-24 out of order.
Yes, please.
So let me open HH 2025-24, Robert M. Cohn and Marcia Casey, through their agent Kroll and Donovan Law, LLC, have filed a notice of intent. The project proposes removal of a chimney and adding a one-story family addition at the rear of the house. The structure is over 100 years old, and according to the town 2015 survey record, and is located at 29 Pleasant Street, map 14, parcel F1-0.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Good evening.
Good evening. Appreciate you taking that out of order, as do my clients.
Like the old "What's My Line" show. Enter and sign it.
John Charles Patrick Crow and Daly was the MC, if I remember that right. Thank you. I'm Attorney William Kroll from Harwich Port, and I'm representing Robert Cohn and Marcia Casey, husband and wife, who are here this evening, right here behind me, and their architect is also here. Identify yourself, please.
Matthew Carr?
Welcome.
And this is a petition to basically to demolish a chimney
Okay.
and put an addition on the back of the house. We've already been to the Board of Appeals and received their approval on July 30th to put the addition on. They granted a special permit. And although there might be some question about whether this property is on the list or not, and whether it's got the right assessors lot number on the list, we're here. So we're hoping that you'll approve it, and so we can proceed with the construction, because this is the last piece, last step that we have to have approval for in order to get our building permit.
Okay.
So you have the plans that we submitted This is property on Pleasant Street in Harwich Port,
Last and most formidable.
29 Pleasant Street.
I say the last and the most formidable.
Yes. The plans show you the existing house, very attractive, has that chimney there, and we have the plans with the front elevations existing, all the plans and specs, and the elevations for the existing house, and then you can see that you want to put the addition out on the back, which is to be a family room, basically, and the chimney would need to be removed in order to accomplish that. It'd be attaching to the back wall. I originally thought that this would not be considered a demolition, but I was told that yes, because the chimney has to go, then it's a demolition, not
It
a
is.
certificate of appropriateness.
Nope.
So we filed it as such. And the style and appearance of the addition will fit in with the aesthetics of the existing dwelling, as you can see from the building plans.
So if I'm looking at A1 and A2.
Yes,
The, f-
that's the
There's-
new elevation, right?
They're just in reverse.
there's, the chimney still shows on the front elevation of the, oh no, that's showing existing. So you're gonna drop the chimney entirely on the, is A1 the new, A1's the new and A2 is
Proposed
the old?
elevations. An existing, right. So,
Okay.
Matt, that chimney is going to be removed, correct?
Correct. Yes, we're on A1, you see proposed elevations, and that is showing the demolition of
Okay.
the chimney.
Brendan, you wanna start?
I don't have a lot of questions. Seems like the front will stay pretty much the same, minus the chimney.
Minus the
Yeah.
chimney.
Right.
I really don't at this time, no.
Lynn?
Are there any plans to add a chimney down the road?
Not currently, no.
That's it.
So we have asked about chimney caps in the past, faux ones, so. Paul?
No, I question why they're even here. I mean, I don't even think it's 100 years old. And certainly the property is in lovely shape, and I can't believe that it's gonna do anything other than make it more attractive by taking down the chimney.
Thank you.
But you'll just patch over with the same sort of shingle surface and so forth?
Yeah, we're getting
You wouldn't entertain like wood shingles there, I see. No questions.
That's
Okay.
existing roof. Yeah, I mean, there was some question as to whether this is 100 years old or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we're always happy to check into that if we're asked to.
I understand, I'm waiting for a bigger battle
Understood,
on something like that.
understood. We are in a public hearing. Is there anybody in the public that has questions or comments on this application before us?
Barbara Nickerson, Route 28.
Robert, could you just come forward just so that we can
Sorry.
capture you on the microphone, that's all?
No, sorry. Barbara
And have you sign in.
28. I just want to say that I appreciate the fact that the homeowners are doing this addition on an existing historic house instead of being like so many other people and just tearing them down and rebuilding something else on that size lot. So it stays in keeping with the neighborhood, and they're good neighbors. So thank you to them.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Ditto.
Okay.
Would that be Robert Nickerson?
Yes, it would
Would be.
be. Yes, it would be.
Mr. Kroll.
Sign in.
Yes, would you sign in for us, just for official
No sign.
purposes? Anyone else wishing to comment or ask a question? Seeing and hearing none, I would entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made by Paul, seconded by Lynn to close the public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any in opposition? Hearing none, motion carries. Brendan, did you want to
Sure.
take a stab?
Case number
me a second.
HH202524, filing date August 14, 2025, hearing date September 17, 2025. Property located at 29 Pleasant Street, map 14, parcel F1-0. Owner on record, Robert Cohn and Marcia Casey. Agent, Kroll and Donovan Law, LLC. Recording information, book 30190, page 279, year built 1910. Historic significance, it is listed on the town's historic property inventory. Proposed demolition would not destroy or substantially diminish the historic value, significance of the subject buildings.
That's
Determination is no demo delay period imposed with no conditions.
But you don't have it either. It was 7.
All right, we have a motion, and is there a second?
Second.
Bob's made the Brendan has made the motion. Paul has seconded. All those in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Any in opposition? Hearing none, motion carries.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
17, 25.
So you could swing this chair over, or you could sit there, it's up to you, whatever you feel more comfortable with.
We're good.
Sticking around, huh?
Yes.
All right. Back to the fourth public hearing on our agenda, which is, I will reread it, HH 2025-23, John F. Sugden and Peter Sugden, co-personal representatives of the estate of Jane Sugden. Owners, prospective buyers are Robert and Darlene Tuner. Through their agent, Kroll and Donovan Law, LLC, have filed a notice of intent. The project proposes a full demolition of the structure to construct a new dwelling. The structure is over 100 years old, according to the town assessing records, and is located at 5 Strand Way, map 1, parcel J1-1. Good evening, Mr. Kroll.
Good evening again. Attorney William Kroll from Harwich Court, representing the petitioner. The present owners are John and Peter Sugden, co-personal representatives of the estate of Jane Sugden. They are under agreement to sell the property, and I believe John Sugden is here in the back row. And the prospective buyers that are under agreement to buy the property are Robert and Darlene Turner. This is Mr. Turner here, and Darlene sitting next to Mr. Sugden. So we filed a notice of intent to demolish and replace the existing structure on the property. I'm assuming that we all know where it is and that it has, they call it the old mill house, as part of the structure on the property. The former windmill. It's my understanding there have not been blades on that windmill since like 1979, which would mean 65 years ago. In any event, Mrs. Sugden died a year and a half ago, and her children are now looking to sell the property. It was in her mother owned it for about 70 years.
75 years.
75 years. Your aunt.
She was, Jane Sugden was my aunt.
Thank you, thank you. So, what the Turners are proposing to do is demolish the existing structure and replace it, build a new house. They don't know yet what that's going to look like. There are 2 lots involved. There's the lot that the existing residence is located on. There's a vacant lot next door that is also part of this agreement for sale. And it's possible that those lots might be combined and have a new house straddling the lot line. It's possible that they might not be combined and build a new house where the existing house is, and then a new house on the vacant lot as well. So there might be two houses on there or there might be one. That's not been determined yet. This is going to be a long process. Historic, Conservation, Board of Health, Board of Appeals. As Dave Davis used to say when he was on the planning board, it's the regulatory thicket that we would have to go through. So I don't want to belabor any point here. We're not proposing, I'm not going to make an argument that we're going to replace it with a house that's going to look like the existing structure, quite frankly. And so we are ready to wait a year for the demolition delay to expire. And quite frankly, it's if the neighborhood, the town, private philanthropists want to join forces to remove the windmill portion of the property and move it to a different location, they're willing to let them do that at their expense and at their risk, but they're willing to let them do that. So it's really up to, I mean, the function of the demolition delay, as you know, is to give time to have something like that happen, to have it move. I know it's in pictures, on postcards, it's iconic, and I would imagine that many people tonight want to get into the historic aspect of it. My clients are well aware of that, and we're willing to listen, but we're going to wait the year, and hopefully something can be done in the meantime. If not, then they intend to demolish and replace the structure.
So I'll start just for clarification for everybody in the room that might not be familiar with our procedures. Under notice of intent, the only remedy and the only tool this board has is to impose a demolition delay. They are currently under the 12-month demo delay, as the 18 months has not been effective yet because of the approval and posting of the Attorney General's office. They are in under the wire. That has been confirmed by Town Council. So, the most we could possibly do here is a 12-month demo delay. I will personally say that I will be sad to see the windmill go if it moves locations, but I just want to be clear with everyone in the room, that is the maximum we can do in this circumstance. Yes, Bill.
One point I wanted to make is, it's my understanding that there might be a lot in the subdivision that's owned by the association.
I can't speak for the association.
Right, but it's just, there may be a vacant lot that it could be moved to if the association wanted to do something like that.
Well, as you know, and as some in the room may not know, we typically, the way we feel better about not imposing a demo delay is when we have plans in front of us and we see what's going on in its place. And obviously, this location isn't at that stage yet, and I perfectly understand that you're at a different stage. So we obviously don't have anything before us to look at or to kind of make that determination. And obviously, the applicants have indicated they're willing to wait out the time frame.
It would not, the proposed structure, I think it's fair to say, would not have a windmill structure on it, so it wouldn't fit in with the streetscape, the existing streetscape.
So all of that being said, I will start with Brendan. Do you have any questions or comments?
I don't.
Lynn?
How old is the window?
1926.
I was gonna say 100 years. We've been in touch with Boston on this, and I believe they said it's about 100 years.
Am I allowed to ask outside of the
Well, if
audience?
it's 1926, it wouldn't be.
Not, when we get to that portion of a public hearing, then if someone comes forward to speak, then you can ask questions then.
It would be 99 years if it was 26.
But the house was built earlier, correct? Yeah. Anything else, Lynn?
When was the house built?
1924,
That's what the town is saying, yes.
on the assessor's record
Right.
from the town.
Right. Mhm.
It's all for right now.
Paul, any questions?
Well, I do have some questions, and I have a couple of comments. The weather outside tonight is very dreary and an ugly night out there, and this to me is an unfortunate and kind of dreary item before us. The first thing that bothers me is the question here that is asked, describe what alternatives to demolition have been investigated. Is your answer, this answer that's included here, applicants do not want to remodel or renovate the existing structure? That's the consideration that was made?
Yes.
There was no consideration toward renovating the structure, using the existing structure. When I look back at the materials here, it even indicated that when this was placed on the National Register or whatever, or considered for, the property was in excellent shape. Now, I agree that was some years ago, but not that long ago that somehow it would reach a state of such desperation that it had to be taken down. And I know Jane Sugden lived there until recently. This is an iconic, you said it, an iconic
Oh, I put it out there, I've heard
structure.
it. I've heard it, yes, many times.
It's, Howard just paid a price here for not having any appreciation for the history of some of the structures that are in this town. And I think it's time that, and we have on the agenda tonight, adoption and creation of a preservation award that would be given to an individual who does a particularly important job in terms of preserving an important historic structure. This would be an ideal candidate for that award.
You spoke very eloquently at the annual town meeting about that, Mr. Doan. I understand.
Well, I'm bothered by this. The fact that there wasn't any consideration to its retention.
If I may?
Please.
There was. I mean, Mr. Turner is a builder. He gave that consideration. As you probably know, it's always, in general, it's more economical, more efficient to build new than it is to renovate. And they've given due consideration to that.
That's what we
And
said
made that
about the
decision.
Exchange Hall, too.
I was
That's
there.
what we said about the West Howard Baptist Church.
Mhm.
That's what we said about the Belmont Hotel.
Mhm.
This has to come to a deeper consideration. The irreplaceability of this structure is immeasurable. And the other thing that's somewhat bothersome here is that it's not just the structure. The property itself has a deep historic importance. The landscape architecture that was involved in the grounds upon which the house sits are historic. The architect was none other than a member of the Olmsted brothers, Frederick Law Olmsted, who designed the Central Park in New York and other small features, his firm did the architectural landscaping on this property. A gentleman by the name of Henry Hill Blossom. His work is also iconic, and I envision, we don't know because it's a blank page here, but I envision some extensive structure will go on the property. It's unfortunate we can't see what the design is, but I envision that when that goes on, the grounds, the important landscaping work that was done is lost. You know, I took a picture, and I'm so inept at technology, I'm unable to bring up the little set of references and restrictions that William Doble put on this property when he established it in the late 1800s.
I've read them.
But his point was that the future residents of this property, the Old Mill Point area, 60-some-odd acres that he developed, would have a care and a continuing care for the beauty and the historic value that that site meant to him, to the residents that followed him, to the Sugden family that bought into the property as well. That seems to just be going out the window here, and the respect for the historicness of these structures, the irreplaceability of these structures. I'm a lawyer, and I understand that you have to take on representation, and you're in a fortunate place to take this tongue lashing. We don't have any powers. I go into the battle with nothing, not even a shovel. The fact that you come in here and say, we'll just take the 12-month demolition delay, I'm disappointed we don't have the 18 for the sake of a few days here. But that approach, that attitude, that disrespect for the town's history is, I think, inexcusable. And I would move that we do impose the small little power that we have to place a 12-month delay. I would hope that, as bitter as I seem, I'm really easy. I'm willing to, and this board is willing to work with the landowner to try to achieve some preservation. This really is painful for me. My family goes back a long time in this town, and I've seen a lot of unfortunate developments. The gentleman in this room expressed it beautifully when he said, too often we focus on the now and not enough on the tradition, on the history, on the taste, on the concerns that past ancestors had for the history. Place more emphasis on that, not on the now, not on the quick buck, not on the fancy house. You know, to take this property and turn it into a showpiece of historic preservation, this is ideally set for that. And I would hope the landowners would consider that. And this commission will go to bat and work with you, or however we might, in that 12-month period. And we even have the advantage of, if we can work something out, we don't need to impose. We can stop the 12-month delay, and you can go right to work and preserve the existing house in 2 weeks. I'm disappointed at this development. I move that we impose the 12-month.
So, Paul, we're still in the middle of the public hearing. We haven't asked for the public comment yet. So can I ask you to just hold your motion until we finish that, and I will come back to you for that? And I will say, I appreciate all of your comments, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. I am old enough to remember the windmill and the blades on the windmill, so I am, as I said when I started, I am disappointed that there will not be a windmill structure on that corner, because that's,
I knew the
I grew up down the
Nobles.
street, that's what I grew up looking at, so I understand. All that being said, is there anybody else in the public that wishes to make a comment? Duncan, if you could come forward, please. Oh, okay, if you would, please. If you could sign in for us.
My name is Ginny Doyle, and I live on the Herring River. And I have been coming to Harwich all of my life, and the windmill has always been a beacon for me. I am absolutely almost reduced to tears over the thought of losing this structure. Not only this beautiful structure, but on this property is a rock with a memorial to Mr. Doble. I grew up in Hingham, and they were from Hingham, and I think his vision was remarkable. The proposed owners say that they are willing to let someone buy the windmill and move it on their own buck. That's not terribly generous. Maybe we need to reach a compromise. Maybe they could pay to move it to a piece of property on that double lot. I just think it's a travesty. As Mr. Doan said, this town has lost sight of its history, and I think it's time that we stopped and valued what we have in Harwich and stopped just tearing things down for the sake of getting rid of them and building something new because we want to and we have the money to do it. So I thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comments.
Just one comment. That monument to Mr. Doble's not on this property.
That's correct.
It's
Not on
on,
property.
it's
Not our
on,
property.
it's on the property, the association's
The
property.
association.
There's a pathway, it's not on this property.
Understood.
And
Duncan, did you want to?
another clarification, they're not
Yes.
saying that someone would have to buy that from them. It would be, they could have it for free if they were willing to move it.
Understood. Again, all outside our purview this evening, so.
Right.
Duncan Berry, Route 28 West Harwich. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. I'd like to address my comments to both the board and to the applicants.
So Duncan, you know you got to talk to us.
Okay, well, I'm just saying,
I
this is
I understand.
one stream of thought, two channels.
Understood.
So I think I agree completely with what Mr. Doan had said, that this is really a tragedy. And it's a tragedy not because it's just a building, not because it's an icon, but because it actually kind of symbolizes an entire phase in our national history, how Cape Cod became a resort destination. The Dobles, if anybody's read the Doble family memoirs by William Henry Doble's wife, Henrietta, she talks about coming to visit here, staying with the Chases and her cousins, Caleb Chase's wife's cousin. So this was all part of the creating a community here that produced the attraction of why we actually have our tourist economy here to begin with. This is a symbol of an investment of a man who was a self-made millionaire, who had patents and franchises on the fabrication of pneumatic weighing scales. And because he came here, he had a vision, he came here, was enchanted by the fact that there was an 18th century mill on the east bank of the Herring River, a few hundred yards up. And he and his wife enjoyed their time here with the with the Doyles, actually, and with the Chases. And Mrs. Chase ended up contacting the Dobles and said, I found your house. And it was right on that property. And they were so enchanted with it that they bought all 40 acres and decided to turn it into kind of a resort, what I would call a moral renewal destination. Their children were being exposed to all sorts of crazy activity up in Quincy. It's my understanding they were from Quincy. And the boys were getting beat up, the girls were facing what they do, you know. And it was a tense thing. And so they came down, they purchased all 40 acres, they moved into the house without any, any coal or anything. And who but Erastus Chase, the guy that put up Whimsy, was the older brother of Caleb, met them with a big warm bean pot and welcomed the family there. And the family then just became, the Dobles became more and more settled and integrated and invested ultimately in developing that 40 acres. And as Paul noted, they brought national talent. And this is a product of deriving an awareness of the unique beauty and the kind of like the moral purity of the Puritans and this kind of natural beauty. This, it's an amazing monument. And I would encourage the board and the applicant to contemplate adaptive reuse. We should be talking about placement on the National Register of Historic Places for economic impact, cultural impact, commissioning the Olmsted firm, Harold Hill Blossom, who single-handedly reinterpreted and brought back on the map the picturesque movement in this country for architects prior to World War I. I mean, this is just an unbelievable masterpiece, and it's one thing if you don't understand if you own something you don't understand it, but the town has to come up to speed with this. We can't force people to do, a noble thing, right? You can't demand that. You can suggest that there are some great ways to add value to their property by doing adaptive reuse. And I would suggest that incorporating the existing structure would be, or parts of it, as part of the silhouette. It's part of one of the defining components of the town. If you Google on eBay West Harwich, what do you see? The Belmont Hotel. The only dwelling you see is the windmill. It's the mill of Old Mill. It's the mill that represents the appreciation of the industrial age for the pre-industrial age. It's the mill that ties all of us together, that we know it's a kind of a beacon at the end. And I think that were it to be preserved, the town would be immeasurably grateful. You would probably end up with a much finer architectural product. And last and not least, I think it's time for this board to talk about developing a budget so research can be done to provide alternatives and information, recommendations, and what have you, resources for people that don't know, that may not even care, but there are options available here for, if not preservation, then conservation. If not conservation, adaptive reuse. We just have to do a better job as a town. And I would encourage the applicant to take the high road. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Duncan.
I have a question.
Anyone else wishing to comment?
Good evening, Sally Urbano, West Harwich. I'm gonna sign in. I didn't know I was gonna speak tonight. I thought, I understood, I had seen on the agenda that this was here, but I never envisioned that somebody would be considering tearing down the old mill. And, my attorney, even without the arms, that's still a noticeable feature, even if the arms aren't on it. I know we have a process here. I know I can only say a few things. Can I just repeat everything?
You can certainly say you concur with Mr. Doan.
So I just have a couple of questions. Is the property, or is Mill Point itself, within the National Register district or within the Historic District? I think it's on Macris for sure.
Correct.
It's on Macris, but I don't believe it's on the National Historic Register.
So sometimes I understand we can refer things like this to the commission, who can take a look at it. Sometimes
No,
they-
that is
No?
not something that we could do at this point. It is,
Okay.
it is strictly here before us on a notice of intent.
Okay.
And as upset as any one of us could possibly be, that is the only,
Okay.
item, only reason it's here before us.
As I say,
is
I'm
because
trying to
it's
stick
over
to
100 years
things that
old.
I think might be working.
Yeah.
Okay, so notice of intent. So the process is they come first to you for the demolition before they have a plan in place, and my concern would be.
They can
okay,
come before us whenever they believe they're ready to come before us. And
And so that demolition can take place, but then whatever they're proposing, I don't know if it's a single house, multi-house.
any person that comes before us on a demolition delay can choose, if they wish, to wait out whatever demolition delay period we put on. And we have no say in what they're putting in. We are willing to work with applicants when they come before us with plans, so that we don't have to impose a demolition delay.
Yeah.
But no, under the statute and under our bylaw, all they have to do is wait the 12 months.
Okay, so they could get the demo delay and then go before the zoning board of appeals and not be allowed to put whatever. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm saying they're coming to you first.
They're coming to us now, and the only thing we have any purview over is the delay in demolishing the building that is on the property.
Okay.
They can go through all of their other permitting stages, and the other boards have the purview to ask them for whatever they want to ask them for at the time that they need them. But that is nothing that's before us or within our purview.
Okay. And then my last few things, it's very sad. And I know that, judging by the town mood, not that that counts for anything, but we're kind of at a point right now where a lot of these are going on, and developers will come in not paying attention to kind of what we are and what our historic nature is. That is very important to us, not only just for the history, but for tourism and economic drivers. So it's really important. And I think the town mood right now is looking not very kindly on this kind of thing. And I wonder, even if they put on whatever new building, can they just at least keep the historic windmill? Would that be something that could be considered?
So it's that is the applicant's purview, and they
Right.
can.
Right.
I think they've heard plenty of comments this evening, knowing that
I know.
people.
I know. Is
the
Everything
window.
could be considered, yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Sally. Anyone else wishing to speak or comment?
I've got a question for Bill.
Yes.
It was mentioned a couple of times that Doble had left instructions as to what he wanted to have maintained or happen to the land at least, or the house. Does that have any legal bearing at all?
I've not done a title search on the property yet because it's just under agreement, but I've done title searches to other residences, other lots in that subdivision. And he did impose restrictions way back in 20s, 30s, somewhere around there, maybe 40s. Those restrictions by law expire after 30 years if they're not re-recorded. Now, I don't know if some of them have been re-recorded. I haven't seen any such document, so those restrictions are not enforceable by the neighborhood, but when somebody buys in a subdivision like that, I say, well, they've expired, but the folks in the neighborhood would probably expect you to still abide by them. That says no parking of unregistered motor vehicles in your front yard, and no clotheslines in your front yard, and no any garbage, trash containers to be covered and things of that nature to keep everybody's property values up. But they're not enforceable. If they filed an action in Superior Court to have them enforced, they wouldn't get anywhere.
Well, presumably there's a homeowners association with rules and regulations, though, that might not match necessarily the Dobles, but
Restrictions.
yeah.
That I'm not sure that there is
Okay.
that, because a lot of times with the old subdivisions, that was before everybody got more sophisticated about these types of
So,
restrictions.
Somebody's gotta be paying taxes on the common, there's common land in there, though.
If
I
there's
would
common
think.
land, then, and you run into this
think.
down in Witchemy Harbor too, the old subdivision, when you say, okay, now everybody has to belong to this new association we want to have, people that already owned in there could say, no,
Thank
what
you.
didn't exist, I'm not part of it, I'm not paying, and I'm not going to agree to this. And that's happened. But if most of them do, then, and everybody wants to ante up and
His restrictions were primarily in the sense of he reviewing the building plans, the landscape plans of people that were moving into the property.
Cape Cod style architecture, all of that, yeah. And that's very common in subdivisions. The developer retains the right to approve the building plans and,
Right.
so, they're not binding.
Any other questions from members of the board or?
Stood the test of time.
Well, just a general comment, that one thing that needs to be considered is as it's been brought up, the character of the town. People come here for its quaintness, its historic value, its historic look. And as much as we don't want to lose that, it is, as other people have said, starting to disappear. And we need to, if we want this town to continue to grow, we need to maintain that history that we have now. It's why people come. One of the main reasons, yes, the beaches are important, but it's one of the main reasons people come. If they are in their boat, they go down the coast and they see the same type of architecture all over the place, they're not gonna wanna come here and stay. People come, take a ride through town, they see the typical Cape Cod structure, it's very appealing. But if you change that, if you get rid of that, you get rid of the history, then you are actually diminishing the value of the town. So it is something to consider when you're trying to get rid of older buildings and you have no idea of what you're going to replace it with, if it at least doesn't even resemble what was there. It's
So
all I wanted to say.
I'm gonna put 2 cents worth in and
Mrs.
I'm,
Nickerson wants to come up, if she can.
just before, I suspect our demolition delay is some of the reason they're here this evening, and I totally respect that. It's what happens when rules in the law gets changed. So, you know, it is what it is, and sometimes that happens.
I know. So-
Mrs. Nickerson.
Barbara Nickerson, still on Route 28. So a couple things. Sitting here, I mean, I can get on my soapbox for a long time, as you know, though I don't speak quite as well as others in this room. But if nothing else, I would think that if they can do this at a notice of intent without any set of plans or anything else, then just wait the clock, be it 12 months or 18 months, then maybe we need to think about if there's an opportunity to change that so that they've got to come in with a more concrete information versus just a notice of intent. I mean, I know you're not going to fix that tonight, but just a observation on it. And second, from what I did for my digging, the Turners already own a property that I guess you already took a house down where you currently live.
Again,
on Old Point.
Barbara, nothing to do with us here tonight.
No, I'm just saying is like, I mean, I'm assuming that you're gonna put a house similar to what you already got there.
No idea, and they don't have
Okay.
to tell us that tonight, I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Well, I guess my whole concern is that yes, it is iconic and this has been there, but, you know, people still keep coming across the bridge. They still keep tearing down what we consider to be part of our life here. And we would think that one of the reasons they're coming here is because of the quaintness of Cape Cod. But as each one of these gets torn down, we keep losing what we've got on Cape Cod. And pretty soon it's gonna look like Hingham and Middleborough and everything else. So my last comment is that it's called Old Mill Point, not Old McMansion Point.
Any other comments from the board? If none, then I would entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Motion's been made by Mr. Doan. Is there a second?
Second.
Paul's made the motion. Lynn has seconded. All those in favor of closing the public hearing, say aye.
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 Any in opposition, hearing none, motion carries. Brendan, would you like to do the motion?
Sure. Case number HH 2025-23, filing date August 14, 2025, hearing date September 17, 2025. Property is at 5 Strand Way, map 1, parcel J11. Owner of record, Jane Surgeon. Agent, Kroll and Donovan Law. Recording information, 151468, year built 1924. Proposed demolition is full. The project proposes full demolition of the dwelling to construct a new single-family dwelling. Historical significance is listed on the town's historic property inventory, MACRS number HRW 342. The proposed demolition would destroy or substantially diminish the historic value.
Brendan, I would actually hold you up there and say, I do think this second and third boxes could and should be checked
Oh,
on
I'm
this
sorry.
one. The direct association with one or more historically noteworthy persons
Correct.
or events, and that possesses particular architectural value.
Okay, great. The proposed demolition would destroy or substantially diminish the historic value. Determination, demolition delay period imposed, length of delayed period imposed is 12 months, expiration date August 14, 2026. I don't see any conditions
The
other than,
expiration date would be,
oh, I'm sorry, I had the wrong way I had that date,
Yeah.
my apologies.
that's okay.
I was way off.
It'd be a day before today, so it'd be September 16th.
September 16th, sorry about that. As far as conditions, I don't see any unless, can we put a condition to make the windmill available if someone wanted it? Probably not, right?
No, I don't think
No
it's
conditions.
necessary. All right, so we have a motion.
Second the motion.
Paul is seconding. Brendan has made the motion. Paul has seconded. All those in favor of imposing a 12-month demo delay on the property located at 5 Strand Way, please say aye.
Aye.
Any in opposition? Hearing none, the motion carries 4-0.
Thank you for your time and everybody's comments.
Thank you. I really hope we can find a windmill someplace.
Understood. Understood.
Thanks, Phil.
All right.
I got it.
Okay, the next item on our agenda is a historic preservation restriction agreement, which is for 97 Main Street, Route 28. Good evening. Thanks for coming tonight.
Do you want to come sit?
Do you need me? Yeah.
Sure, come sit.
That last one, I don't know if I did. We're not tearing any windmills down, I promise.
So I'm just gonna tell you that the version I have in front of me is missing a significant number of pages.
Really?
I'm not sure why, but we can always, let's go through our whole, let's go through the whole rigmarole, and it's the
All right.
preservation restriction
Yeah, the preservation.
for 97 Main Street. So, just before you get started, Marion, I just want to tell the board, we did reach out to town council. Town council did review it and had just some minor comments about dates and things that we had sent over to you this morning,
All right.
sent over to the office. It was, I had sent it over to Andrew, got Andrews out of office, sent it to Bonnie. And I would hope Bonnie had forwarded it to you with those minor comments, but she may not have.
She did not. I'm holding stead for Andrew, who's on
Okay.
his honeymoon.
So there were a couple of, if I, hold on, I can see if I can call it up on my phone here. So if, while I look for this, if you wouldn't
So-
mind,
Sure, I
for
can
the,
give you
for
all
the
some background
board and the
on
public,
this.
what the preservation restriction is.
Certainly. For the record, I'm Marion Rose from Singer and Dennisport, here on behalf of JNS. Sam Speakman is here, one of the owners of the LLC. We're here to finalize a requirement for a comprehensive permit that was granted.
Can you speak up?
Certainly. We're here to finalize a condition, which is the historic preservation restriction, that was a condition of a comprehensive permit that was granted back in 2017. This property is part of a Habitat for Humanities subdivision, and Lot 7 that's involved here is a market rate lot. It has a home and a barn on the lot, and originally both the barn and the home were part of the historic preservation restriction. In 2024, the comprehensive permit was modified. It was modified to take the barn out of the restriction. It's now a residential unit. So the only structure that the historic preservation restriction applies to now is the home. Part of the process for this is a state review of the restriction. After that, it goes to the owners and goes to a mortgage holder for signature, and that has happened. The next part of the process is for you all to review this restriction, and when we secure your signatures, then it goes before the select board, and then it's registered with the deed.
So we had requested town council to review it. Council had, their only comments really were the date needing to be left blank on the last page, on the execution page on the first page, and agent to be changed to agents. So that was, I think, strictly it.
I'm sorry, I didn't get that message.
That's quite all right. It's quite all right. I don't know if any of the board members have any questions about the preservation restriction. It's 31 pages long, so this is clearly,
Really get it.
yeah, it's missing.
Gave us
See it.
excerpts of the.
Yeah, it's clearly missing a lot. It's mostly schedules, so I'm not sure what happened in the copies. What?
Can you summarize it, because this is all new to me?
It's almost too much to summarize, and I don't have a full copy of it in front of me.
Right, I do have a copy.
If you wouldn't mind, Marion.
Sure. And what it does is, what the preservation restriction does is, with major changes to the property, those changes, and it defines what those changes would be, those, or the scope of those have to be approved by the state. There are minor changes that don't need state review and approval. And it goes through what those are, and then the process for the state review.
This is the house that they were working on the roof yesterday or the day before, correct? Just happened to drive by and notice it.
So the grantee here is,
Is the town.
The town.
but this commission acts as the town's representative then?
I'm not sure I follow.
What is the role of our commission as the grantee in this
The town-
restriction?
I think you are accepting the grant, you are accepting in reviewing the terms of the restriction. And it's a condition of that comprehensive permit that the original applicant, who was not JNS, had to agree to get the comprehensive permit approved.
Yeah, so if there was to be some major improvement, let's say you're gonna remove all the doors and put on new doors or something, who would you go to get that authorization?
If
The state or the town?
The state.
Even though, do they become a signatory of this restriction?
They actually do become a signatory of the restriction.
But they're not in this document as a signatory. The only signatures you're requesting here are people that don't even serve on our commission. Other than that, the thing is in perfect order.
I apologize, I'm kind of playing pitch.
Yeah, so
for this,
just looking at it,
Yes.
things that our town council would
I'm
have
just trying
picked.
to understand the
Certainly.
structure. I'm not opposed to the
Right.
restriction, but I am kind of confused by the
Sure.
process here.
You and me both.
So it is, there are certain rights that the grantor has, there are rights that the grantor reserves unto themselves. We then, by, I believe, state law, have to be a part of accepting that restriction, and that restriction is placed on the property, but ultimately the Board of Selectmen then also selected after, have to approve it after we do.
But to answer the question, if they were gonna make some major improvement, then they don't go to us or the Board of Selectmen, they go to
Correct, the state.
Historic Commission.
Correct, but I think minor changes would still come before us. So, things like, I don't know, a new roof.
Painting.
I believe, and just correct me if I'm wrong, is this for the house itself?
This is for the
Yeah.
house
Okay,
itself.
so this has been like an ongoing project with the barn out back,
Yeah, that's out.
which we've gone
Yeah.
through.
Right.
The issue is we want to clean up the house as well. So we went through this whole thing for the past year and a half with Mr. Singer, and apparently he's not around, so he would be, obviously knows the whole thing. But I've been to more meetings and talked to him more times. I can't figure out what's going on half the time. The bottom line is we're trying to clean this house up. The windows are falling apart, the doors are falling off. We're coming to you to say, can we just replace in kind? We're not looking for any major renovations. We're looking to clean the outside of the building
You
up.
just
We're
want
not-
restore.
But the
We're not
advantage,
doing that now. What we're doing now is trying to, before all of that happens, we have to be compliant with that
Right.
2017 requirement, and that's what
Which
this is.
we inherited as the,
Right.
as
but
the
there
current owner.
is some financial assist, right, through this methodology of granting the restriction or some advantages financially
That
for
was
putting the
all-
restriction on, or none?
That was all part of the original
Original.
application. He is a,
I'm getting handed
Subsequent
everything from
owner.
that, yeah.
I do want to, you had a question about who was signing this. In
Yeah.
addition to the select board, in addition to you all, the Massachusetts Historical
Commission.
Commission is also
Yeah.
signing this.
Yes, but we're not, there are not members, well, other than the chair, but the other members are not on
Are,
the commission.
actually, you actually are on the full document. Each one of us is
It's
to
on
sign
this
it.
one,
Yes.
they give
Uh,
us-
Correct.
Right.
Yeah,
So
the
I
street
think when the copies got made, something happened with the copy machine, because on the I'm
Okay.
looking at the original document, and, there's, I don't believe you were listed, Paul, because I think it was an older list of people. Julie Eldridge is still on it. Julie needs to be removed. I didn't notice that myself, so that will,
And there's a Don Howells on here.
I know, and he's on his
He's
chair.
everywhere.
He's on his chair too. So that may be what happened. He is our liaison, so it may have been mistakenly put on. I didn't notice the signature lines when I glanced through it before we sent it to council. So we can make sure that those get changed.
Well, I
But yes.
applaud anything you can do to upgrade the property there, whether this
You and me
doesn't.
both, and that we're,
Get it done.
unfortunately, we're handcuffed.
It needs a
We
needs a rehab.
Unfortunately, we can't do anything, so
I think
we're
he's
kinda
you're
handcuffed.
stuck because you can't get
Yeah.
anything approved until
Right.
the preservation restriction is on.
Correct.
Because it was a contingent in 2017.
Yep.
So we're almost handcuffed as well. Nothing's going to
Right,
happen
yeah.
until,
Right.
unless and until we approve this.
Right.
I'm
In
constantly being reprimanded by the chair. for
Not
my
being
As long as
reprimanded.
somebody knows what's going on
comments, but
around
I-
here.
not being reprimanded at all. I think we're literally stuck between a rock and a hard place with this one.
Yeah.
I will say, council reviewed a 31-page document and approved the form and content of it, with the exception of, like I said, they made some comments about some dates and one agent being changed to agents. So I can confirm, I got that email from council this morning, and that was, they were fine with the language and the,
I move
content of the preservation
endorsement
restriction.
of these documents.
all right, we have a motion to
Second.
endorse the preservation restriction.
Uh-oh, wait a minute,
Question.
wait a
Oh,
minute.
there's
This
a-
isn't a hearing, but
Yeah,
I just wanted to commend the applicant for taking on the work for this. Because, this is one of those smaller things that doesn't get on the radar, but it's so important. And it's not small to me, because this is the Judah Chase House. This is like the triggering thing for the Captain's Row movement about 10 or 12 years ago. And this was one of these things where he was a sea captain, came back and ran basically a grocery here. He was like, this is the ultimate, like, multi-use original thing, right? And it was featured on all sorts of postcards as Richmere in the 1920s. It was a very popular kind of drive-by thing. It's like, so I really thank the applicant for what was going on. I can't support enough what you guys are.
Thank you.
so we have a motion to endorse the preservation restriction.
Second.
There's a second on the table. Could I offer just a minor amendment that, that the, to the extent that the signature pages and the dates can get amended
Certainly.
appropriately, and then we can circulate it for signature.
Certainly.
So that's a motion made and seconded by Paul and Lynn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any in opposition? Hearing none, motion carries.
Can I just ask a question to clarify?
I'm sorry?
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
Afterwards. I would just want to make sure, when this was filed, we filed the entire complete restriction. Is that what your understanding is? And
No,
then-
I believe you did. I think,
Okay,
I think
and then
just,
maybe when
I
the
think
printout
perhaps
was
when,
done
when the copies got
here.
made, I think something might have
Okay.
happened.
Okay.
Because I had the full preservation restriction
Okay,
and,
that's-
and
I
I,
was confused.
and I know that's what we sent off to council, so.
Perfect. Okay.
So I know they were, because I'm looking at the full document and I see. 14,
Are there any missing members?
18.
So if you go to the website,
Yes, I'll go and make sure.
so that is an updated list.
Okay,
But Anita Doucette is now our select board's liaison, so that has changed.
okay.
So I would just omit her name. And then Paul Mann is also a member, but I don't know if he's been sworn in. So it's really just gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4,
So,
the top 5.
So I'm gonna ask Lisa, can you check and see if Mr. Mann ever got sworn in as a member? He has not attended a meeting yet, and he has been appointed. So it's the four of us plus Bob Doan, possibly Paul Mann. But I think Anita is on there because she's a select board member.
Right, yeah.
So it's the select board members. So Julie Eldridge is no longer, and Don Howell should not be listed as a historic commission member. He should be strictly as chair of select board.
Yeah.
Okay,
And then I think we're good.
perfect. Logistically, how
I
how
would-
best to get everything to?
I think if you get it to Lisa, then we can email it and we can either come in and sign or DocuSign them.
I thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. All right. The next item on our agenda is a discussion about the West Harwich National Register of Historic Places submission, but also to the extent, I think we had discussed at one point, National Historic Register versus entertaining it as a historic district. There are different rules and consequences of each. So Sally, I think you were here the last time. Did you want to open up and speak or your husband like to start?
Can I say something first?
You wanna,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
please.
guess we could
I want to
share a
say,
chair.
just one second.
If you could sign in our sign-in
Oh,
sheet,
yeah.
which is somewhere along the way.
Sign-in sheet, they took the sign.
Oh, somebody took it by
You know who I
mistake.
am.
All
Yes,
the security.
just
they-
state your name. State your name for the record, please.
There was a lot of accolades tonight to the people sitting here who are trying to do the right thing. I want to give one to this board. It was amazing to sit here and to hear your comments. They hit home.
Heart comment.
Yeah, it wasn't, my mind wasn't working, my heart was. So I really want to thank you for that and thank this board. You more than fulfilled your mission, even though your hands are tied.
That's true.
I'm bringing my knife
for
next
sure.
time. Okay? That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hey, there it is.
Catch.
Thanks, Lisa. Sally.
Yes, so, I don't have too much, but I did call after the last time, I called the message board to see where the old one was. They have a new person since Phil was the last person that knew about this. Now it's somebody named Ben Haley. Ben said, take a whole bunch of photographs, so I'll do that, I can do that part. Send them back in, take a look, he wants to make sure it hasn't been degraded too much. He doesn't think we'll necessarily have to redo the bee forums. But that's all he could offer me, he wants to, like,
Yeah.
sort of what you guys are saying, we'll make some stuff.
Yeah, I think your macros forms are gonna have to get updated regardless, because they don't accept them with less information. So one of the things that was talked about at our last meeting with respect to the National Historic Register application, that application was started in 2016, and approval was, Mass Historic sent a letter back, and said that would be a representative district. However, a lot of the research that was done in 2016, we're now talking it's 9, almost 10 years old, if not 11 years old, because it was probably done before the application went in. So unfortunately, a lot of that is going to.
Couldn't that be done with, like when they submit, you hire a preservationist to do that, would that be, they do those forms?
They would, but it's gonna be part of your application and part of the fee. So, I mean, I think this board at this point in time doesn't have funding in a budget to go forward and do something like that. And I think my purpose of putting this on the agenda tonight was just to kind of get a sense of what people in the room have to say. I don't know whether the town would have to what extent the town has to back if the town is paying for the National Register District versus a historic district. And there are differences. With a National Register District, I believe changes and things go to Cape Cod Commission versus something that would come to us. So like, they wouldn't be doing certificates of appropriateness before us for a historic district if it's a National Register District. So, so just wanted to throw some of that out there.
Just out of curiosity, does it have to become a local historic district first before it goes for national?
No,
Okay.
no, it does not. It does not. My understanding of them is that they're two separate animals.
And we might need 2 separate animals.
Right.
I don't know.
And so I think it's just a matter of kind of figuring out what work is going to have to get done, to go forward. Anybody have comments on, yes, Duncan, please. Always happy to listen.
Well, always happy to strain my vocal cords.
Stream of consciousness?
Yeah.
At this point?
Well, so I wanted to know, well, first of all, I've probably got about a dozen articles in, of all places, the Quarterly Journal, the Cape Cod Genealogical Society.
Yep.
Not the ideal place to be publishing stuff on West Harwich architecture, but there's a lot out there that's published that I've got like primary documents on that can go plug right in. Mm-hmm. So we have something to work with for updating. I do wonder whether or not we can appeal to the town based on to get some funds for you all to be able to promote your mission to subsidize the research that, you know, some maybe people can't be convinced quite yet, but to launch it, to kind of like give it a push. And anything that I can do to help with that, I think would be great. And especially something that's kind of like National Register District is kind of a low impact toe in the water. It's largely honorific. It entitles, you know, all the owners to certain credits and benefits and what have you for ownership and effort to preservation, and with very little, you know, pushback. So if I can help, if we can, we have a national grade, national quality grant writer who is both trained as an attorney and an architectural historian who lives in Harwich Port, who does great grant writing. She served for 12 years on the Monuments Commission down in Manhattan. I mean, we should be looking at local talent to do good stuff for local. So how can I help you guys? I mean,
So I think from my perspective, and this isn't me speaking for the board, this is just my 2 cents worth. I think it is a harder lift to get a big item in a budget than it is to maybe seek CPC assistance, just because, you know, any town administrator in building a budget is going to be hampered by Prop 2.5, and you know that levy limit is large, and so any increase in budgets are tough for them to work into a regular budget outside of a Prop 2.5 override. So that's just my 2 cents worth, you know, in that instance. Now, if it's something that I suspect with CPC, you're not going to be able to use preservation funds. You might not be able to use preservation funds for the application. You know, maybe there's an ask as to whether you could use, get access to some administrative funds. I think that's all an ask that has to go before CPC. And at this point, I don't think this board is far enough into the mix to kind of deal with an application before October 1st, which is the deadline for CPC this year.
So what about, you know, just to go back to the town budgeting process? I mean, you're saying like it would be a heavy lift to get something, even like a low 5-figure, but like just to have as a, that could be a difficult lift.
We asked for 25 last year, and we were told that administration would find it if we needed it for, you know, ask on applications, but we did not get we put in for it, we didn't get it, so. Because it is.
Start hammering the right forehead.
It is.
We gotta get this.
We had a whole hearing. I sat before a select board and we asked, and while we had support on the select board who told us we would get what we needed when we needed it, that doesn't necessarily mean we're gonna get
So do you need like an invoice or like a proposal to do?
So anything that the town does has to go through procurement. So we would have to be committed to doing a project before we could do a proposal and scope of work and go out for procurement purposes. So for example, our CPC projects, we had to pare down our CPC project on 3 different occasions because the proposals that came back were so far in excess of our budget.
Right.
So, you know, we cherry picked the right sections of Harwich Port to try and make the money that we got work for updating our list. So, you know, I guess my question is it worth trying a historic district in West Harwich again? I know it was attempted once and failed. Is it, you know,
I think it's.
what do people think the difference between the historic district and the National Register District? I mean,
What about the West Harwich Special District?
So the West Harwich Special District is really a planning district, and it doesn't have really, there's no, not in our purview, those
They're design guidelines.
guidelines, right, but they're not, they don't have anything to do with us.
I think with all the stuff that's gone on about the West Baptist Church, people are realizing it is a valuable area and there might be more interest in making it a historic district.
But for something like
My
this,
belief is that, and again, these are my beliefs, that if possible, we should go for both under two separate areas, so that if one fails, the other one might succeed. If the historic district is a heavy lift, the national designation is a much lighter lift at town meeting. So that's, I'm coming from that perspective. On another issue though,
Well, the National Historic Register District would only be, I don't know that that's a town meeting article if it's a private application.
that's even better.
So,
You sold me.
am I looking at it strangely? I do not in any way, shape, or form pretend to be an expert on a National Historic Register District.
I remember they saying we have to build community support because it's gonna have to be voted on, so I thought it went to town.
Register
meeting.
District, I'll have to look into it
But I
further.
suppose it could have been just.
We'll have to ask the question.
There's a vote somewhere in there.
I'll have to ask the question.
And
Mary,
they
if I
will
can-
come down and talk to us about it.
If I can step back 1 second.
Yeah.
Paul knows I'm an outside the box thinker, so this is one of those places that, boy, am I out there, so forgive me, Paul.
Oh, gosh.
I know, no, I'll try. I try, and I respect how she thinks. But in my mind, I'm thinking, this historic commission has resources in terms of even gathering information. The special district has all kinds of information that was collected, pictures and so forth, to make it a special district. Why can't this board, along with planning, if necessary, ask the commission to come in, bring the information, educate us on what they have, including, one of the things that I get lost, Mary, I understand totally the regs behind the special district.
Mhm.
But then when I talk to people who are part of it, say, oh no, it's so much more. And I say, but where's the so much more? And they say, well, go talk to the commission. Well, when you go talk to the commission, they say, well, go talk to your planning board. And it's a circular firing squad that you can't win. So maybe that might be a way of easing the community into understanding, easing the community, and at the same time gathering information they may not have to pay for that they already have. Because I'm sure John is gonna be in favor, because he already is doing everything that we need in terms of the church and everything else. He's there with us.
so it's really a funding problem to a certain degree, right?
I'm thinking,
'Cause I know
I'm thinking,
CPC, I actually just read it yesterday for some strange reason,
Yeah.
at CPC and the guidelines, that the historic, they don't really give dollars for that,
right.
so.
Historic-
I can read it to you, but I
No.
just, it's there if you wanna see the
historic
guidelines.
money has to be used to preserve a historic artifact or,
Right.
or,
Why don't you appoint somebody, and we'll get the chairman of the planning board, whoever that is.
Put him in the hot
Appoint
seat.
somebody, and those two people go to work and put together the game plan, and come back, and whichever commission is the right one to be working on it can move forward with this thing, because we're kind of wandering around in the dark.
so I think the better solution is to just talk to our town planner, because she was talking about whether we needed to do a joint meeting or not anyway, about West Harwich in general, so,
Okay.
so let's, Duncan and I can
Well, so
reach out
there's
to
Let's
also,
move- let's
there's
get a
a, there's
date.
there are plans afoot between the ZBA and the planning board also to comb through the code.
Yep.
Where, because we have stuff that's not only out of date, stuff that is direct conflict with
Correct.
Commonwealth statute law, but
Correct.
also stuff that's contradictory. So we need to kind of comb through just for our
Well,
own
the
sake.
zoning bylaw needs to be redone, and we've had that conversation at
Why don't we
planning
get
1,000
one
times.
Right.
from each, the zone, ZBAU, and.
No, but I mean, with ZBA together, this, I think, would might be make sense to have somebody from historic district there to say, look, there are corridors here that we can't ignore that require special consideration, and maybe this is one way we introduce in this, the process to get something before town meeting, that this is a joint effort.
So
of
I would
three
ask
boards.
if you talk to Christine before I do.
Yep, okay.
Which you probably will.
Yep.
To just tell her about our conversation this evening and
Okay.
and the potentials at foot.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
and go from there. Sally, if you're going to talk, I need you to come forward.
Sure.
I'll step back.
I don't know if it's,
I gotta go home and eat.
it's just
Sure,
simple,
I mean-
but, I didn't know if everybody knew, here, Sarah Cordes,
Yeah.
yeah, she's moving on.
Yeah,
So,
I had heard that.
That's it, October something, so she does say, she has other people that could come down and talk to her.
Yeah.
but,
Yeah.
Anyone else?
I don't know where she's going, but I did hear that
She's
she was
sticking
leaving.
around, like, I think she'd like to
I did
come
hear
down
she
here.
was leaving the
Yeah.
commission.
That did.
So
Okay.
does that make sense to have us?
Yep, I think we just
have
need to get
Duncan-
a pathway.
No, and I don't disagree with you at all, Paul, because I think, because I do think there are misconceptions about what the special district
Yeah,
means,
yeah.
is and means, and what, it's not a historic district, what those guidelines mean
Yeah.
really on development,
Maybe
you know.
at the commission, Cape
Yeah.
Cod Commission is a repository
Right,
of guidance over
Right,
there.
so we'll go from there.
Okay.
And I would say if individually you folks, as a private source, want to try and do a CPC application, deadline's October 1st.
Yeah, I
So-
don't think we ever thought it could be done that quickly, because it takes time.
I understand that, I'm just,
Yeah, I
I'm-
think I will have a conversation with, to have to come back up again.
I'm only saying that because I know the deadline's coming up quick.
I think I'm gonna take that idea and run with it, Mary, because I think I need to have a conversation with CPC, because I go all the time to that coalition, CPC coalition, I'm going. The other towns have been able to fund the National Register District, but they couch it with certain words. That was what I told, like, it's a study too, and then they do the study, and then you just submit the study, and that maybe we could go that way. I'm willing, you know, so I'll find out.
All right, this board, I can tell you, I don't think, I wouldn't have time to look at anything before,
Right.
and meet again before October 1st, for us to act as a board, in that timeframe.
No, I think we.
Right, right.
No, we came just to start the conversation, because we
Yeah,
got
no,
lost,
absolutely.
you know, and I need.
No, absolutely.
So if there's something, I'm with Duncan, you know, we
And
work.
this came in
Two
before I
other
got.
people, they're all willing to help you.
This came in before I got on the board. I started, I think, in June of 2016, so, so
Good.
it's certainly been around a while at this point.
Thank you so much, appreciate it.
You're welcome. Next item on our agenda is the Revolutionary War House plaques. Lynn?
Wait a minute, you've skipped over my
Oh, no, I think you were,
minute.
did I skip over you? Oh, I did skip
Yes.
over you, I'm sorry. Historic Preservation Award. Paul, I'm sorry, I checked it off like it was done.
Hey,
I did the same thing.
Italianos
we've been
have a
talking about
word,
it.
Basta means enough.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
gotta get.
We spoke about you at CPC the other night and your Historic Preservation Award.
nice.
So one of my caveats before I forget, because I'm forgetful these days, CPC is looking at what we can do for plaques or signs to go on
Together.
projects that have had, CPC funding. So CPC was looking at perhaps metal painted signs and things. We were looking into what Chatham had and for their preservation award. So CPC was looking into signage and items of that sort. So we were also going to start looking into Chatham. And my comment at the CPC meeting was, once CPC kind of gets a sense of what they think they want for a plaque, to come to us so that we can maybe approve a design. And at the same time, we were still deciding on a design and
Well,
for your preservation award, because
with all due respect, Madam Chairman, we don't need to go to Chatham for anything.
we do not. One of the board members had
The
seen
last thing
one
we
in
got
Chatham.
good from Chatham was Ebenezer Broadbrooks in 1694.
Touche.
We have right in this town, the Harwich Historical Society, who used to, they've kind of gone dormant here, but they used to have a program, which I participated in, to place plaques on the homes of
Okay.
that could date a certain age of its construction or some important figure that lived in the house. So I have the material on the
Fabulous.
boundary we used for that.
Fabulous.
So we can.
If you could
we
provide
can buy
that
into
information, that would be wonderful.
And I'll pay for the plaque. We don't need to go looking for any money. Anyway, what I wanted to do was to get this approval so we
Yeah.
can move forward.
Yes.
So I'll just quickly summarize what I
Please.
drafted here as, by the way, let me just say, there were three things that I really wanted to accomplish by serving on this prestigious board. One of them was this program. One of them was the 180-day, the 18-month demolition delay. And the third
Success.
thing is getting a historic district in this town for West Harwich and Bank Street. And
Gotcha.
I hope I can live long enough to see the third leg of the stool here. But we've got the first two done. And this is the, so anyway, here is my draft of the process. And so what I won't go through this in the interest of time and the lateness of the hour, but basically I call upon a subcommittee of this commission who would put together and review these guidelines that I've outlined and get some input from others and so forth to fine tune this and that. But it basically would establish the program. It would open from October 1 through the end of the year, a period of time when this board would take nominations, either originated from individual homeowners or nominations by individuals who respect what a homeowner or an architect or a contractor took the time and made the effort to preserve for historic purposes the structures. And those would be nominated. Now, I've called upon creating an application form and maybe even create a filing cost to the submission, and that the commission would, on an annual basis, award at least one and maybe multiple in some cases. It was presented to me the other day that maybe we need some catch-up time. So the first few years, this commission might be able to produce more than just one.
Sure.
So, but I've allowed in here for multiple awards in 1 year or just a single award, but the effort to try to have at least one award for a year. It does require that the item that is being considered for this award for a particular year not necessarily had to be somebody who came before this commission. It could be somebody who undertook this effort and successfully preserved a structure. But it does require that, at least the draft here, I've suggested that the particular work be done within the prior 10-year period. So we can't look too far back to try to catch up. And the other key point of this is not only getting the plaque on the individual's home, but one thing I must admit I'm borrowing from Chatham, and that is they have a secondary notification to the public of who won awards in certain years, and these plaques, in essence, are placed in a municipal building. They happen to be in the annex building over by the Chatham Airport. But for everybody who goes into that building, right in front of them is a list of all the winners, and you can see where Bonnie Rosenthal was picked for, and what she did, and so it describes the work. So I envision that maybe in our community center, we could have a dedicated area where these notifications to the general public, because not everybody's gonna drive by and see the sign on somebody's
Sure.
house on the back end of Belmont Road or something, but if it's on
No,
the
it totally
building.
makes sense.
So this is sort of two parts, both a plaque on the property that's selected and a plaque that would be in a municipal building, appropriate municipal building. I talk in here about what the plaque would consist of, and basically I'm trying to sort of have it be of a rectangular shape, similar to what we have already for the historic home, in terms of the
Yep.
date and so forth. So I would ask that either these draft guidelines be approved or accepted, and a subcommittee be appointed to look further into these and come up with the actual guts, in essence, pardon the phrase, but the guts of what this program will consist of. And because I do have the project beginning October 1st, so we've got to kind of get on the job here. So I would ask the chair to appoint 2 members in accordance with this draft that hopefully will be accepted by the 4 of us, and to start the process, including preparing some sort of an application form that we can make available.
So that was
and have
going
in
to,
various places that people can pick up to nominate
so I think
candidates.
I think what we want to do is put an application on our website.
Well, that's possible, yes.
You know,
sure.
and put an announcement on the website that, you know, we're entertaining applications for preservation award. And I think for now, we should keep it short and sweet and say, work on it can be for buildings or landmarks
Right.
within
I've
the
got
last,
that in here.
within the last 10 years.
Yep.
So on or before September 30th, 2015.
Right.
On or after, I guess, September
And this
30th,
gentleman
2015.
that sat here tonight in the front row has got my vote for the first award if he comes forth.
So, I think if we start with that, Paul, we can, you know, then we can, the notion is you're gonna accept applications through December 31st. My comment about a subcommittee is just I'm happy to appoint, 2 of you.
Okay.
However, remember, when you're a subcommittee, you have to post meeting notices and host your meeting in a public place and
2 of us.
just, yes.
And that changed last year,
Still
right?
it's still,
Already 3 at
no,
least.
it's still a subcommittee. It's still a subcommittee. It doesn't, even if you're less than a quorum, a subcommittee is a subcommittee. So,
We have to post, take minutes, that's all though, right?
post and take minutes,
That's
yes.
easy to do.
So,
Excellent.
all right, so
I'll
is
go
the
ahead and vote
consensus
for your
that Paul
plan
and,
next week.
is the consensus that
I
Paul,
won't ask any questions.
Paul and Brendan would like to be the subcommittee?
Yes.
Perfetto.
I move they be the subcommittee.
Oh,
Okay. So,
That'll work.
yeah, we'll
We'll come in in October with the application form, just to,
Perfect.
so that you're
And,
aware of
and
it.
listen, the application period is through December 31st, so there's still plenty of time.
Right.
Even if we don't approve an application until
Okay, I like that.
October 15th, so
Perfect.
we're fine.
Okay.
And I think the message is, you know, the committee will make a determination annually as to how many preservation awards they want to grant.
Yeah, it will come back and the whole committee
Yeah.
will make the decision.
Yeah.
We'll just bring in the
Yeah.
nominations.
That's fine. And like I said, if, you know, there may be some years you want to grant 5, there may be some years
Right.
you want to grant 1. Maybe
Right.
some years you don't think any are worthy, or they're beyond the time frame. So I think leave it open for now, and do we want to approve this in concept? And
So moved.
all right, this has been a motion made
Second.
and seconded. Paul, Brendan, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any in opposition? Hearing none. So that's number 3.
I can think of a
Now
house
they're
right
Gone
now.
way out of order on
Plaques.
everything. Revolutionary War
I
plaques.
wasn't here last week.
Oh, and that's why we postponed it, because you weren't here.
Oh,
I
we
didn't
did,
want to
yeah.
talk about it without you.
So next,
So you want to
Want to postpone it till the next session?
just continue?
I'd love to hear what you guys were thinking.
Oh, I put it on because you had mentioned it. That was all. That
Oh.
you had looked about putting plaques on for revolution and
I think it
recognizing.
was actually Bob that.
Was it? Oh, I thought it. I
Well,
could be
we
wrong.
were going back
My
and
apologies
forth
to
on
Bob
stuff.
if it was Bob. But yeah, if
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. I think it's a good idea.
so, do we have a list of you? You had developed a list of Revolutionary War houses.
Sure do.
An additional 9, but I know there's a 10th one for sure, and there are gonna be more that pop up as more
Okay.
research is done.
Okay.
We can add 311 Main Street, 311 Route 28 to the list. That was William Allen's house.
So I guess my request on this end would be if you could come up with a list.
Okay.
And then if, Mr. Doan, if you could, give us some information on the foundry that you were getting plaques
Yes.
at, and if we can get a cost on that, you know, again, I don't know that we're gonna be able to get an application into CPC by October 1st, but that might be a way to pay for plaques.
Actually, the Historical Society, as part of its application process for the plaque, would have the individual homeowner pay for the plaque.
Okay,
Yep,
Right.
we
well,
did.
that's good to know.
We might mooch that way, but I'd rather we provide it, but that option exists.
All right, good to know. So if you could do that before the next meeting, that'd be awesome.
Absolutely.
And then, I don't know that I'm fully prepared to talk about the amendment to the demo delay more than the fact that the 18-month demo delay was approved.
Yes.
It is, it was approved by the Attorney General's office. It is being posted, however, the effective posting date was not, is not effective prior to the applications for this meeting, so,
Like the 9th or something, right,
Yeah,
of September.
yeah, it was, it
And
was
all
like.
these
So when
people
does this
went
go
in
into
on the
effect?
end of
It'll be in
August.
effect by it should be in effect for our next meeting
Oh, that's fine.
applications. I will double check that. I did ask, and this meeting was definitely, these applications were in. Are there any other applications in that beat the deadline? Do we
So
know?
all these got in like by the 10th, the 9th or the 10th.
Yeah.
And there are some that just came in, and so those will be under the 18 months.
Okay.
Yeah, for the next.
So we will double check, but,
Before I found
with general
that,
bylaw changes, it's not effective until posting, so that changes.
before I found out that the applicants tonight had all preceded the Attorney General's approval, I was gonna move that we consider that first and then slap 18 months.
Unfortunately, town council told us
Right, but I
Yeah.
couldn't.
nay
I
on
move
that.
adjournment, Madam Chair.
So, there's been a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Been made and seconded. All in favor of adjourning? Aye. Any in opposition? Hearing none. Motion carries. You're adjourned.
I know.
Doug,
Excellent house.
Hit
hit
stop
the stop recording, please.
Okay.